going up. That's bad news for future inflation. Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. What is happening to the price of gold should be sounding alarm bells inside the Federal Reserve and other central banks. The best barometer for monetary inflation is the dollar price of gold. For a variety of reasons, gold keeps its intrinsic value better than anything else in the world. That has been true for 4,000 years. Fluctuations in the cost of the yellow metal reflect changing values in the value of currencies, not in the value of gold itself. What policymakers can't quite grasp is that there are two types of inflation, monetary and non-monetary. The non-monetary kind is when prices rise because of disruption to production, resulting from natural disasters like droughts and earthquakes, from wars such as the Ukraine conflict and the attacks on international shipping by Iranian proxies, from the pandemic shutdowns that severely damaged global supply chains, and from government regulatory actions that raised the cost of doing business. Monetary inflation comes when the value of a currency is reduced in value, usually from creating too much of it. There's not much the Federal Reserve can do about non-monetary inflation. The Fed can, however, curb traditional monetary inflation by focusing on keeping the dollar steady in value. In other words, not letting it go up too much vis-a-vis gold. Unfortunately, central bankers these days never refer to stable currency values. Instead, they focus on trying to suppress their economies by upping interest rates. They pay close attention to whatever price index they think best reflects the true state of inflation. They'll never admit it, but they're still in thrall of the Phillips curve, which posits there's a trade-off between unemployment and inflation. The Phillips curve has long been discredited by real-world experience and by studies from a number of Nobel Prize-winning economists. That's why the Federal Reserve has been flummoxed by recent events. Despite big boosts in interest rates, the U.S. economy is expanding, while the pace of rises in price indexes have come down quite a bit from their 2022 highs. While gold is flashing red, other signs of trouble are emerging. When there's currency trouble, hard assets like commodities often surge. One key commodity index is up 17% this year. Of course, the best approach for a sound and stable dollar is the gold standard, which we had for 180 years before we ignorantly blew it up in the early 1970s. But gold is the great unmentionable in economic circles, a visceral disdain based on deep ignorance of how the system actually functioned. Criticisms are encrusted in myths. Two things the Fed could do right away. First, announce that henceforth its goal is a stable dollar. To that end, it should look at gold and commodity prices when making monetary policy, as it did for a few years back in the 1980s and 1990s. Second, publicly direct fire at our astronomical spending. Binge spending will create pressure for future money printing to pay for deficits, and we know where that leads.
Hey guys, Carlos Cortez here. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another episode of Scriptures on Wall Street. Hey, we're getting a lot of calls, and I just want to say thank you for the emails. Thank you for the calls, allowing me to speak life into your portfolios and really coming at me with some thought-provoking questions. And I wanted to talk about some news today. Obviously, gold is the hot topic. Yo, check out my new kicks. What do you think? Gold, baby. I ended up scooping me a pair. Comment if you hate them, if you love them. Go ahead and comment whatever you want. I just thought they were awesome. Anyways, and extremely hard to find. But look, gold is just surging. And whether you wear your gold like I do, right? I wear my gold. I have a gold bracelet, watch. I like gold. I wear it as jewelry. I got to be careful, man, because having $50,000 to $70,000 on gold on you is not the smartest thing to be walking around in the middle of the city or a suburban area. But we stay strapped here in Florida, so what can I say? It's important. It's important to have your pistol on you at all times. Your Glock 45 subcompact, right? But hey, I am just wanting to talk about something very simple, but yet complicated. The Fed is crapping bricks right now, man. You do not want the cost of gold to skyrocket. When gold goes up, it lets the whole world know that the U.S. is problematic. Like when we have Wall Street crapping on gold and saying gold is a terrible investment, gold's this. A, we can't charge on gold. We can't, Wall Street cannot make money off of gold. They can only buy the ETF form, the paper form, which is what you do not want, by the way. But when you have gold, it just goes to show you, just like the inverted yield curve, people are not trusting the U.S. economy. People are not trusting U.S. economy. We have people getting passports right now, double passports to Malaysia, to Singapore, to any country that allows multiple passports so they can bounce because people are saying the rich knows that there will be a black swan event.
But Americans have this unique problem where you're taxed no matter where you live. Now, I was an entrepreneur, and so I was able to dramatically reduce and most years eliminate my tax, but I was restricted in how I used the money. If you're an investor, you don't have that many options of where you can move as an American. And so the first step is, I think more countries in the West are going to put in some kind of system that makes you their perpetual slave, even if you want to leave. And so you want to be able to say, you know what? I don't agree with this. I'm out. Because I'm a big believer in following the law. If I don't agree with the law, I go where the law agrees with me. And I think every country gets to make their own laws, and we can pick and choose what works for us. So I gave up my U.S. passport, and I won't say taxes were really the main driving issue, but I've got a lot less paperwork to do in my life. I have a lot more free time. I have a lot less stress. That's a nice bonus. So I think being able to, leave your current nationality is not the worst thing to have. I think that you look at the pandemic. We had Americans. I was selling a house to an American. It took him a year to get a passport. I was getting my passport renewed in one day. So that's because I have citizenships that they actually serve the population of their country. They're not big enough to be able to have the impact that the U.S. does and to not care about you. I just think you're going to see more taxation. You're going to see more surveillance. You're going to see more restrictions of freedoms, including on citizens who go overseas. I have American friends doing business in Asia. They're held to an American standard for how they do business in Asia. That may not be how Asia works, but they're American, so they're held to it. Or else they can be thrown in prison for not following that. For following the way business is done in Asia, they can be thrown in prison. And so I just think from a freedom perspective, from a financial perspective, and as Jim Rogers told us last year on stage, he can't invest in a lot of places. Certain crypto investments aren't available because you're American. So big brother in a big way. If you have other passports, you have the freedom to do that. And I also think as the U.S. continues to alienate a number of countries, I don't want to travel around as an American. I've had a much easier time getting residence permits as a non-American. I think that if you have a passport that brings some drama with it, you're going to have fewer opportunities. And lastly, look at this TikTok thing. It was under Trump. Now it's under Biden. Which countries are going to say, you know what? The U.S. stiffed us. We're going to stiff them back. I do business all over the world. We have clients from all over the world. What if Brazil said, hey, we don't like your passport. You can't sell to our people anymore. That would be a problem. So having multiple passports gives you the ability to avoid all those things, travel to more countries, have more opportunities, whether it's opening bank accounts, buying different funds. But for Americans, the big question is, do you want to be American?
And they want to be able to leave whenever they want, whether it's on their own private jet or a regular commercial jet. They want to be able to leave. What could potentially happen if we don't fix this problem? We could be stuck here. The dollar could crash. The financial system could crash. I don't think it would be worthless right? Because there is no plan B, guys. We're still Americans. We're still Americans. So, but I'm not too convinced that the banks are as strong as what they say. You have Janet Yellen, you have Jerome Powell, you have their butt buddy system. You have all these people claiming that inflation is going down to 3s. Just stupid face now said, "Oh yeah, we got inflation down from 8% to 3%." Are you kidding me? But meanwhile, gold is skyrocketing because people do not have faith in the banking system. They don't have faith in the economy because of Bidenomics. And Wall Street's lying to you. The media is lying to you. But it shows. The charts do not lie. KRE is bumping up. The bank stocks are skyrocketing. I got a buy signal on my KRE stock just 3 weeks ago. And here we are, the banks, good quarters with their earnings, but they're starting to show tapering of less growth because people are moving out of the banks to get better yields. So if we have a default in the bond market, that would be an atrocity for America. If we have a default in the bond market where our debt cannot be paid. And look, it's totally possible. We have, $7.4 billion that horseface AOC and her Bidenomics and her Bernie crew, the Socialist Communist Party, which we saw that sticker in Rhode Island. Like, they're legit people that want socialism and communism in America. And how does that look like is they come across as, oh, we want to take people. We want to have social justice. We want to take care of them. We want to provide them shelter. The immigrants come over. They don't like the food that we serve, so let's get them a bodega card so they can go to the supermarket and they can buy whatever they want. Who the hell is going to pay for all that, man? Oh, yes, the client that just called me from Texas like 30 minutes ago, he didn't know that there's earnings tests on your Social Security. The guy has worked so freaking hard his whole life only to know that all the IRAs and 401ks count towards the taxation of his Social Security. And I was able to help him and refer him to my CPA, Richard Bender. If you need a great CPA and you have tax issues, call him. His link is on the show, on the bottom of this show. Great guy, man of faith, warrior, patriot, and a veteran. So give him a call if you have problems with your taxes or you're trying to get an extension. Whatever you need, just give him a call, and he is extremely, extremely fruitful. But this one particular gentleman, I can't say his name for client confidentiality, didn't even know like all the loopholes when it comes to Social Security. And guys, what they're doing is they're phantom tax, all of us. They're hidden tax, stealth tax, call it whatever you want to call it. They're just changing the games up with Social Security, what passive income, what isn't earned income, and they're taxing you and penalizing you if you try to take Social Security early. Now, with Social Security, with that being said, there's 10,000 of you guys for the next 15 to 25 years that are going to be retiring because there's so many baby boomers that don't even know this stuff, the trap that you're about to walk into with Social Security. God forbid you save in an IRA or 401k for your whole life. Dude, like, just know that all that money that you pull out is ordinary income. That's where they have you by the short hairs. Social Security is a welfare program. So we have this. If you're 40 years or younger, you're not going to have Social Security, in my prediction. I mean, it's supposed to run out by 2033, and they're going to try to save it, but it's going to be watered down. It's not going to be anything near what it is now. So if you're 40 or even late 40s, give me a call. You want to get in the same plan I did personally is I put my money away that can grow with no fees, no risk, and we pretty much make 100% of that index, $100,000 basically in 20 years could be worth over $4 million. I mean, if you have 20 years of deferment, that's what happens when you have the power of compounding with no fees and no risk. And we could do this for every client. It's just everybody doesn't have 20 years. Maybe you have 10 years. Maybe you have 5. I don't know. Everybody is different. But the fact of the matter is you need to have options. I specialize in accounts that are not going to be in the CBDC system. Of course, we're already in it as we speak. If you're watching this, you're already in the CBDC system. Your bank is. Pretty soon, the real estate that you live in is going to be in the CBD system. Everything is going to be in the CBD system. And how this is going to pan out is going to introduce a social credit score. They're going to implement it with the rising crossing of the illegal immigrants. And they're saying, hey, we don't have a way to monitor them. We don't have a way to track them. We don't have a way to control them. Let's implement a social credit score. Then they're going to roll it out to the vulnerable, like people with Social Security, military workers, people that actually rely on the government. And then they're going to be able to control their behaviors. It doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. They could stop reissuing passports or limiting you to countries on where to visit. They could completely control you as a U.S. citizen, as these horse-faced idiots, communists, scumbags of this word, try to take over Washington. They can literally take our rights away, our traveling rights. And by the way, even if they don't, the other countries that we've sanctioned are not going to allow us to travel to their countries and take advantage of their tax situations, or maybe start a corporation or buy land or build land in other countries. All that becomes questionable right now. So I'm looking ahead, like they could literally start shutting down passports. And this is why the wealthy are getting extra passports outside of the U.S. I think it's a smart move. If you're a prepper like me, and if you have a bug out bag, hey, why not get a second citizenship somewhere? My dad's from Nicaragua. I might even apply for that. I don't know nothing about Nicaragua. I'm a Southern boy. My mom's Puerto Rican. I'm a Southern boy that grew up in North Carolina. I like sweet tea. I like a little bit of country music. I love guns. I love our military, but I also love my freedom. And if I need to bug out and move my family out, I need to move out. So be it. But I'm also a captain of a ship, and I want to stay in America. I believe in America. There's no other home like America. It just feels right. And we're patriots. We don't run away from issues. But we would like the freedom to travel at our own accord, not the government's accord, right? So if they don't do lockdowns, then they can do lockdowns on travel. And they could literally force you to be compliant. So what if that happens? Have you thought about that? It's just me thinking as I was writing this podcast, I just realized, yeah, we have $6.2 trillion in banks. Yeah, we have economists saying that we could have a black swan event. Banks could go belly up. They could steal $6.2 trillion. It could be gone. We all know that the CBDC is here. You can buy real estate through blockchains. Blockchains is going to be a permanent fixture in our economy. Like, that is happening now. If you don't believe me, you're living. I mean, you're not living under a rock. You're living on another earth. You gotta adapt, man, or you will die. You have to adapt. That's pretty much it. I want to help you with your retirement. I can help you with retirement. That's why I have this podcast. Actually, this podcast, I want to talk about money. I want to talk about money because at the end is what of every episode is what it's all about. I say the best for last, and that is the gospel of Jesus, the gospel of what Christ has done for myself, for my life, for my practice, for my clients, for my family, and what he could do for you. At the end of the day, my scripture of the day is Hebrews 9:15, and we'll talk about that, but I really want to hone the fact that there's nothing stopping what is about to happen. I am the weatherman. I'm just letting you know, hey, here's the temperature. There's this hurricane coming, but there's nothing stopping from what is about to happen. Even liberal, secular Yahoo Finance is talking about why is gold Why is gold increasing? They're starting to wake up. They're like, hey, even though we've been taught to say the banking system is fine and it's just China buying gold and that's how we see the excess. Why is China buying the gold? Because they had our debt. They own our debt and they're getting rid of it because it's garbage to them. So they're buying gold because they don't believe in it. They're buying gold because the central banks don't even trust the dollar anymore. They're buying gold because this freaking idiot has destroyed our country. And yes, America's on lifeline right now. America needs your help. Use the daggone dollar. Pull the dollar bill out of your wallet. Force your waiter or waitress. Pay in cash. This whole weekend, just do it. Just do it. Like, cash is not going to be a thing. My children don't even know. Like, they're not going to know what cash is. I give them cash. I'm saying, hey, go buy something. And you know what? They have a hard time buying something because everything's so credit card friendly. Everything's so Apple Pay friendly. They're learning like, hey, if I give you this, I get change back if that cost of good doesn't, if it's not worth, if I give you $10 and I buy a Hot Wheel for $1 plus tax, I get, $8 and some change back. So what I'm trying to say is that use cash, because all that's going to do is we're going to act as a linebacker of what's going to happen. It's not going to be a long-term solution, but I feel with all of this shenanigans happen, if we use cash as a country, we can slow down the CBDC. If we buy stuff with cash, we can slow down. Go to the ATM right now, take money out, and use it. Gold will continue to skyrocket, and it is skyrocketing. Eventually, it'll lose gas, and it'll come back down because it's a traded commodity, and it's being suppressed. It's being suppressed. The cost of gold is being suppressed, and what it's interesting is hedge funds are buying it, and once hedge funds get in, they start putting their tricks, the shorting gold and their big orders, but they're buying and they're also, it's going to be a head fake. It's going to go up and it's going to come right back down, just like any other commodity. Now, gold is a safe haven. It could be worth $1 gazillion in the future. We understand that. But what is it going to do for you? Are you actually going to sell it when it's at an all-time high? Or are you going to have a loser mindset and just, I'm going to hold on to it because it's going to be worth X amount of dollars in the future? And next thing you know, the hedge funds get in. Remember GameStop? And they actually tried to crash gold, which they could. And the retail investor actually won that trade for once as everybody got involved. I don't know where this is going to go, but you need to sell gold when it's at an all-time high. You need to buy it when it's at an all-time low. And that is a very emotional process that only a few can actually do. Unless you're like me, you just hold it because it's part of your bug out bag. Like if I have $100,000 in precious metals, I can just head to the hills in North Carolina and grab my family and fill up my wife's Yukon and just head for the hills, grab all my ammo, and just head to the hills, jugs of water and gas, and I'm ready to roll, man. But hey, that's a bug out process, right? Not everybody wants to bug out. Some people will flee the country or whatever. We should roll the tape on how many celebrities said they're going to leave the country if Trump gets in. And let me tell you, like, Trump is not the savior. Trump, we should not be worshiping him. I'm not a Trump hater. I'm pro-Trump. I am voting for him because he is going to be the best solution for our conservative values. But we have to be prepared. What if they steal the election again? What are you going to do? If they steal the election again and Trump doesn't get in for whatever crazy reason, what are you going to do with your retirement? You see the overreaching of them accessing our bank accounts. You see how legally they can do this. You see that the money that in your bank you don't even own, that the bank owns it. You're just the beneficiary of withdrawals. You see banks collapsing and Janet freaking Ellen bails them out with your money. with our taxpayers' money, with the FDIC, after they said in 2010, there's no longer in the bankruptcy laws, there's no more bank bailouts. But yet, FDIC is in receivership of another bank, Signature Bank, First Republic Bank, whatever, SVB Bank. We had so many other banks that crashed and folded last year, more than 2008. Hello. No wonder we got $6.2 trillion in money market funds, which I can't fathom when banks are not safe right now. Do not have more than a year's, if you're a business owner, do not have more than a year's worth of operating expense in a bank. Please don't do it. I know I said 2 years before, but now it's a year. I don't trust the KRE stock right now. Like, I got a buy signal. I don't even know how the hell to even explain it other than it's pure manipulation. How is KRE going up in value when we have an inverted yield curve? When the deficit was 1.2 trillion added to the 34 that we currently have. And then on top of that, we still got $800 million from Blackstone that defaulted on commercial lending. I mean, not to mention the real estate problem, not to mention high interest rates. Man, it's an utterly complete shit show, guys. So yes, protect your principal. Do not put all your money in the banks. Don't do it. And also, don't put all your money in gold and precious metals. I like silver better than gold right now, but it is a commodity. No more than 20%, man. Like, give us a call. We want to help you diversify. You might need some crypto. Yes, there's some downfall about crypto. There's some downfall about Bitcoin and DeFi. Yes, you need electricity. You need internet, and you lock it up in cyberspace. Internet is gone like the Obama movie. You can't access your crypto. That is a downside for those of you that are curious. The downside with the banks is, hey, they could go belly up. The downside with precious metals is, what are you going to do when it does rise? Are you going to sell it? You can't buy groceries with it. You can't even make an income off of it. Like, how are you going to convert it? What are you going to convert it to? You got to have an exit plan. Most people don't have an exit plan. They just want to buy, and then they get screwed 30, 40% buying from these big conglomerates that you see on Rumble and not calling my friends at Cornerstone. By the way, Costco is selling more than $200 million. Costco is selling a boatload of gold, and it's not even like the good gold, man. So you want your precious metals to be licensed and certified. So right now, write this number down, 888-747-3309. Reach out to Cornerstone. One of my great friends, Terry Seca, he's the owner of Cornerstone. So 888-747-3309. You call us first. We can come up with a plan, but we also will refer you to Terry over there at 888-747-3309 at Cornerstone. They're going to beat most of the prices that you've shopped around for and get you close to spot price. And they'll have it shipped physically to your door. They can even put Bible scriptures on it. So we can play that game and say it's religiously exempt. Yeah. Silver, they will even consult you on palladium, copper, silver, gold, not just gold, but just different other precious metals. So I just thought that was interesting that they can add to the diversification within that alternative space. So good guys out there, Cornerstone Asset Metals. You'll not be sharked. You will not be hounded on. You're not dealing with a Zionist-based group, which I despise. But, Alan Greenspan said it, that you really need to be careful with gold. Like, you don't want the cost of gold going up. That means the economy is doing bad. And what is happening right now? It's skyrocketing, dog. Skyrocketing. And look, according to my scanner, we got a buy signal. Bro, we got a buy signal Tuesday, October 3rd, homie. That's how gangster this scanner I have is. Like, how many times have I shot called something based on my scanner Like, tell me. I mean, you guys are keeping up. Like, everything I pull up on my scanner, it is coming through. Obviously, past performance is not indicative of future results, and I'm not promising, but this is just an opinion. Past performance is not indicative of future results. I am a financial planner. This is not investment advice. If you want investment advice, give our firm a call, 813-448-3446, or visit us at cortezwm.com. You can also email me at info@cortezwm.com. But I love my scanner. Basically, I paid a lot of money for it. It can help, based on all the algorithms and AI, can help predict pretty much any stock, future, or crypto, or ETF or fund. It is amazing. Your advisor should have tools like this and tell you, hey, watch out. There's some stuff going on. Like, if you're in bonds, what are you doing right now? Rising interest rates are going to happen. Jerome Powell wants to rise interest rates again because he's going to manipulate what I think they're going to do. They're going to try to steal the election. They're going to rise interest rates again, more bank failures, more chaos. There's always order in chaos. They're going to create more chaos. And then they're going to have Biden fix it all over. And inflation is cooling down. I got inflation. He's already saying it right now. The inflation is at 8% to 3%. Are you joking me? Like, he legit said that the other day. That inflation is from 8% to 3%. And he's bragging about it. He can't even say about it because, again, he'll slur his words, right? But he legit is talking about inflation coming down to 3%. Although he's not even considering the CPI index of the real CPI index. And the CPI index, they take out petroleum, they take out food, and then they create the CPI, and then they base it off Social Security, or Social Security bases off CPI. And last year it was about 5%. So you're not getting the real cost of inflation. They're manipulating this whole freaking thing like China did with COVID. China wanted to look strong and look great. And people were dying, and they didn't have enough graves. And what they did, they burned them in trailers. They burned them in these excavators. I mean, they just burned and burned and burned millions of people. I mean, it was terrible. Hundreds of thousands of people. And that's what they're doing here. They're covering all this up just to make everything look good and fine and dandy. But we are not fine and dandy. The gold market doesn't lie. I mean, gold is over 2340 right now. Yeah, it took a little hit because it's a commodity. It will skyrocket and it'll come back down and breathe, and it will skyrocket again, come back down and breathe. But my scanner doesn't lie, man. Like, it's got some steam, like some serious momentum. This doesn't go, any fund, not just gold, but any fund that goes like that has to be massive, like just billions of dollars pouring in. And it's not Costco. It is not Costco. It is not Costco, man. So don't say, oh yeah, Costco is selling it, that's why gold is going up. No, this is an international deal. This is the whole world saying, looking at us like, I don't trust the U.S. economy. It's not a coincidence that China, who owns our biggest debt, is releasing our debt, and they're buying gold. The central banks are buying gold. The central banks are buying gold, man. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, the BRICS. They're creating a cryptocurrency that is backed by gold. They're creating their own blockchain. Like, this is for real, dude. We are in the CBDC. We are in the hyper-digitization. It is happening. You cannot run from it. For those of you that comment and say, oh, man, crypto's a scam, you're ignorant. You're freaking ignorant. I have big ears. Hear. I have big eyes. Listen. See. It's right in front of you, dog. Like, you better act up, man. You better start adapting, because this is freaking real. If you're watching this, you are using Wi-Fi. You're using internet. So don't go tell me that you don't believe in crypto when you believe in the internet, when your whole life is based on the internet. That's freaking hogwash, man. You know, it shows ignorance. But anyways, all that I say that to say is that really our covenant process, we believe in a little bit of crypto, that you should have certain types of crypto. We believe that you should have some precious metals. We believe that you need to have insurance contract law protecting your money. And we believe that you need to have a brokerage account to have liquidity and grow, because the banks are just not safe. But one thing I think we all can agree on is that the banks are not safe, man. The banks are not safe. You should not have all your money in the banks, getting nothing. And they are walking on like thin ice right now. They can explode any day. They're faking this whole banking system like it's strong, and it's not good. It's not good. And gold is showing us that, hey, the banking system sucks. It's weak. It's manipulated. It's being lied to. This is not fake. This is real. Like, this is real as a heart attack, man. So get your stuff right. I'm not the doom and gloom guy. I just want to be the messenger. And this is my concern for the week. I'm going into this weekend. You're watching this in the weekend. Is that as we get into this third and fourth week of April, pay attention to the gold price. Pay attention to the 10-year Treasury note. Pay attention to how the government keeps on spending money. They just gave $7.4 billion. AOC, horse face mouth looking mofo, just legit gave money to free college. And so now the immigrants are going to come in here, and they're not only going to be fed, they're going to get monthly income if they have someone else's room, but they're going to be able to go to college for free. Oh, man. That just like aggravates me. That aggravates me because I had to learn a game of soccer. My parents spent gazillions of dollars on me, training me, taking me to the tournaments, taking me to practice so I can get a soccer scholarship one day. I was successful at it, but I had to work hard. And even with that, I ended up transferring, and I didn't write out my full soccer scholarship for whatever reason. But here we are. We have these immigrants that can come up the border, have babies here. We pay them. The government pays them. They get fed. They get diapers. They get milk. They get everything they need, their shelter. But here we are as Americans, we bust our ass. We do the right thing. We take responsibility. We go to school. We take student loans out. We get in debt so that one way we can invest in our human capital spirit of starting a business or being a good employee. And they get to come in here, have their babies in our hospitals, and go to school, get it all paid for. And they can go to Oregon and get a professional license. They don't even have to be a citizen anymore. They can become doctors. They can become financial advisors, investment advisors. They can have a professional license. And legit, like, I don't know. It's sad, man. It is absolutely sad. I don't see how you think that's fair. But anyways, we need to stop this garbage, man. It is scary what could happen to United States. But we are not living in fear, because Hebrews 9:15 says, "For this reason Christ is a mediator of new covenant, that those who are called may receive the promised eternal inheritance, now that he has died as a ransom to set them free from the sins committed under the first covenant." Guys, we don't need to worry. We don't need to worry. In 1 Corinthians 10:31, it says, "I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh." So I just pray that we can open up our hearts, that we can be more Christ-like, that we can have our name in the book of life, that although we may not agree with the political aspect of it, God still wins. God still wins. And I don't know about you, but I like making money for clients. I like making money for myself. I like making money for the church. I like giving money to people that are in need. But more important, I like talking about how I can be an impact, making sure that your name is written in the book of life. None of all this matters, man. bank failures, the money, the greed. All this can go away if you ask Christ in your heart right now to say, hey, Lord, forgive my sins. I'm a sinner. I'm a fornicator. I'm an adulterer. I'm a gambler. I'm a whatever sin you have. Doesn't matter. He can cleanse you as white as snow, and he can accept you in the kingdom, eternal heaven of the loving grace of his holy of holies, which is Jesus Christ is our Lord. Jesus is King. And I just want to stand in faith that you are already good, that your heart's already there with Christ. At the end of the day, all this money, all this worry, all this concerns, he says, cast his care upon him. Like, we need to give all this worry to him. And yeah, the people are going through our countries. They're getting things that they don't deserve. I feel frustrated. I feel upset. I get angry. I start cursing. I start like thinking evil things. I'm human, man. But at the end of the day, God can turn our heart of stone and give us a new heart. And so that's what I think we need right now is a new heart as a country and individually. But you can't be asking all these things if your name is not written in the book of life. That's my goal for you, is obviously protect your retirement, give you advice if you call me. But more importantly is to make sure that I'm being an impact and that your name is under the book of life. Now, if you've listened to this whole podcast, thank you for being a fan of the show. Thank you for supporting. I got the emails, and you guys are just amazing. And I love standing in this gap. I hope I can do this for as long as Stu has me. Even if I get hate on the comments, I had to delete one guy because he called me a spick. Dude, call me whatever you want to call me. Don't bring up race, man. Like, you can call me tinfoil hat, make fun of my ears, make fun of my buck teeth, make fun of how fat I am, whatever. I don't care. Don't call me a spick, man. That's just like, you got some hate in you, man. So, you know what? I pray for you. I pray for you. You got some hate in you, and I don't take it personally, but you just have to deal with that with God himself. And you can't have hate in your heart and love the cross, simply put. Anyways, guys, I'm out of here, man. It's Friday night. I want to be with my kids, and I want to dance with my wife. Love you guys. Let me know if you like my shoes. If they're ugly, no go. If you love them, cool. I don't care. I got them because I liked them. So God bless you guys. Peace.